You are watching Channel E18, the Cherry Hill Public Schools television station.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday night's main event here at the Cherry Hill East Gymnasium. Tonight you're going to see some great wrestling action. Cherry Hill High School West will square off against Cherry Hill High School East in their traditional rivalry. You'll see some young wrestlers here showing you the more traditional style of wrestling on the high school level. And just to get you a little familiar with wrestling, there are 3 periods, and each period is 2 minutes long. You can score there are 2 manners in which you can score and win, of course. One is by points, and you score points by a variety of maneuvers, which we will get into later. And you can also score by pinning your opponent for 3 seconds. Must hold both of his shoulders down to the mat. Now, West is the underdog in this meet this evening. However, I spoke to Coach Seymour earlier today, and he said we may surprise some people. So we'll have to see what happens later on tonight. Just so you know who will be doing the commentary for you this evening, this is Michael Arrington, and joining me later on will be my brother Adam. And we'll be bringing you hopefully some excellent action. What you see right now, East coming onto the mat, and it's spotlighted this evening. It just shows you the rivalry, just an example of the rivalry that these two schools do have for each other. Warming up right now. West was warming up earlier, and West is coached by Mr. Seymour, gym teacher at West, also an expert in self-defense and many other related activities. Of course, the key in wrestling is stamina, flexibility, as well as the agility in which you can execute your moves. And to make sure that nothing happens tonight while they're doing that, these players are stretching out, of course. You know, making sure that they wouldn't want to pull any kind of muscle or anything, or have any kind of injury result during this meet. They are expected to win, however, that may put a little bit extra pressure on them, you know, because West is the underdog, and they'd love to show this team how things are done, and love to pull up a little upset here. We'll see what happens later on in the evening, and coming up, we will give you the West and East lineups of the wrestlers. And an interesting note on that, neither of the teams really wanted to reveal their lineups. They did do so to us, as long as we were given the assurance, they were given the assurance that we would not reveal their lineups to the opposing side, because a little chess game going on between the coaches at this point. Adam, now you were mentioning the strategy necessary to win this evening.
Well, I think West has the weaker team, and don't have as good a record. But Coach Seymour, this is the first year he is coaching, but I have experience in my own gym classes when he is conferring with some of the wrestlers on the team. He seems to know what he's doing, and the wrestlers seem to be pretty strong. So I think it should be an even match, even though one team is strongly favored.
And what will be some of the strategies that the wrestlers will be using in the match?
Well, they start out, they probably want to get points early in the match. They don't want to wait out and be watching the clock the whole time, because there is a certain time limit on the match. And they're trying not to get into any tight positions where a point can be awarded for a reversal.
That's a good point. And in addition to that, of course, they'll be looking to score points, always looking for the pin, of course. Something that every wrestler, of course, that's the most convincing way to win. All right, and looks like we're just about ready to get underway here on Wednesday night's main event here at the Cherry Hill East Gymnasium. The introductions are being made. They are facing off against each other right now. And we will be underway shortly. Some real action now. They're just facing each other off, looking at each other, trying to psych each other out, as well as psych themselves up. You can see the crowd pick up here, and as we mentioned, it is a bit larger than usual. The introductions are being made, and they have George Willis facing off against Scott Harper. We have Evan Graham facing off against Robert Kaufman. At 121 pounds, you will have Brian McHenry facing off against Brian Sloan from East. At 128 pounds, you will have David Backel from East facing off Keith Mahan. At 134, you have Scott Orman facing off against Gary Goldblatt. You have Mike Seymour, the co-captain, facing off against Joe Figaro from East. At 147, you have Tony Papinari will be facing off against Michael McAleer. There are 3 wrestlers from West who have a shot to go out. At 157, you have Keith Cummings coming out and Jeff Coulahan from East, one of East's better wrestlers. 169 from the Lions, you have Gary Gagnon or Scott Jones, and you have Jim Lloyd from East. At 187 from the Lions, you have Jamie Jamerson, and from the Cougars, you have Greg Casamento. And the heavyweight for the Cherry Hill West Lions will be Jason Hamilton, and the heavyweight will be Rob Veld from East. And we should be underway with our first match shortly, but first the captains are going to come to the center of the match, and of course for West that will be Mike Seymour along with Kevin Lockwood. They will flip coins for position during the match. They're going to decide who will be on top during certain points of the match. When we get to those points, we will of course inform you of that. There's the flip. All right, East has won it and has made their decision. Now West doing a little sight job on themselves over in their half of the arena here. And we're just about ready to get underway here at the Cherry Hill East Gymnasium. Some wrestling action. The varsity Cherry Hill West Lions against the varsity Cherry Hill East Cougars. And we have Benny Ramos for the Lions out there at 100 pounds, and John Sloan for the Cherry Hill East Cougars. And they shake hands. The first 2-minute period is underway. And they're looking to look horns, and West gets on top first, but does not get it, and there he scores 2 points. Looking to turn his man over at this point in time. Going for that pin. 1 point given for the escape there. And now we have the West man, Benny Ramos, on top. Looking to turn his man over. Go for that pin with 1:36 left in the first period. No points given as yet. They're still down there. The East man trying to escape. The West man, Benny Ramos, trying to execute the maneuver he's trying to turn his man over. The East player is up, but now the East man has him by the leg. Gets 2 points for that. Takes his man down. No points awarded at that time. 1:14 left in the first period. We have East driving Benny Ramos over. He's trying to make some sort of escape here, trying to force a break. But John Sloan is driving his man into the mat. Adam, let's take a look at what's John's technique here at the present time, trying to turn his man over.
Well, the West competitor on the Lions, he came out pretty quickly and he put a quick move on him in the beginning. And I think John Sloan realized that, and I think he was tired in the beginning. And before this match even started, the junior varsity team had a rather embarrassing win. So I think that might be on the West competitor's mind at this point.
And the West player does make a break there and does get a point for the escape. Now he's trying to turn his man over. And we've got a seesaw match here. Benny Ramos at 100 pounds, a sophomore, really making an impressive showing here with 19 seconds left in the first period. We've got a clean break. And, Benny Ramos goes for the legs there. Good, impressive maneuver. Gets on top of his man. No points awarded as yet. John Sloan has the leg of Ramos, trying to drive him up and over with 2 seconds left in the first period. The first period is over. But West is up for this match. As you can see, Benny Ramos got the better of that first period. He will be starting. We will have an even start right now, beginning of the second period. Here we are underway. They lock horns once again. Benny Ramos is able to get on top now, trying to turn his man. John Sloan driving from underneath against the chest of Benny Ramos. You see Ramos straining over there. Now, what is Sloan trying to execute here, Adam?
Well, I think he's trying to execute a reversal. He's doing it very difficulty, and there was a stoppage of play there. I think the East competitor, John Sloan, was trying to use a defensive foul against the West player by driving his head into the ground, and it looked like it may have been caused by our Lions competitor.
All right, they're still on their feet right now, but now he is taken down. John Sloan does get the leg of Benny Ramos, but Benny Ramos manages to stay on top, and he's done that all through this match, really dominating. Now he's got the leg of his competitor. He might turn him over here, but John Sloan pulls out a nice little move there to turn his man over, and now he's trying to get him for the pin. He's almost got one shoulder. He's almost got the other shoulder. He said the referee is looking for the pin, looking for it. Oh, he's bridging out. Oh, what a power move by Benny Ramos. Amazing. Look at this bridge. What a bridge out. I can't believe it. All right, now we've got John Sloan. No, still, he's had the better of this particular period. But now Benny Ramos turns him over. Oh, what a power move. Oh, my. Benny Ramos really showing some gut and spirit here for West on his first match, only 100 pounds. He's doing an excellent job, but now John Sloan trying to bridge up and out. Adam, your assessment of the match thus far. Your assessment of the match thus far.
Well, it's been a very exciting match. These two players are 100 pounds. They can be more agile than the heavyweight, and they've shown it. They've been all over the mat at this point, and it's been a lot of turnovers, but John Sloan, the score is now 5-10 with 5 set, 4, 3, 2,
Oh, and
1.
this period is over. All right, as we get into this third period, we've got the score at 10 for John Sloan and 5 for Benny Ramos. Benny Ramos will be starting in the opposition, but he lets his man get right up. Wants to go for that leg. He is on top, but his man does have him now, and if he can bridge him up and over, he may be able to go for that pin. It's John Sloan is showing some power here at 100 pounds. But Ramos now getting a hand in there. But Sloan was able to score 2 points, so he's got 13 now. And Benny Ramos better be going for that pin with only 1 minute and 32 seconds left in the match. All right, so here we go, and he's got John Sloan on top right now. Ramos trying to turn over, but right now he's not getting the best of stuff. And we've got a break here. So Benny Ramos will have 1 minute and 19 seconds to go for the pin and try to pull out a victory here. He will be starting from the bottom position, however. And John Sloan looks like he's going to let him right up. Puts an arm on him. There's Benny Ramos. He's down immediately. And John Sloan trying to ride out a victory here at 13-5 and only 1 minute and 10 seconds left. Looks like he might be on his way to a victory. Benny Ramos shows a bit sign of weakening after these 2.5 periods of play here. And he certainly has put on a fine showing and certainly given the West team a lot of spirit. 100 pounds. It looks the East team is saying he's got a pin, but Ramos doing an excellent job of bridging out, and this young man has some power. With 42 seconds left, Ramos, things looking bleak. John Sloan getting the better of things, scoring 13 points thus far in the match. His only chance for Ramos is a pin, and Sloan is applying the appropriate pressure here. But he gets another 3 points there, so he's got 16-5. Things looking very, very detrimental here against the Benny Ramos of the West, who has put on an excellent show, but with only 13 seconds left, things are not looking well at all for Benny Ramos. Did spirit the West team in the first match, but we will chalk up the first match victory to East. John Sloan riding out a victory. Adam, your assessment of that match there.
Well, it looked like Benny Ramos was tired out. And as you can see, in that third period, the East player, John Sloan, was dominating the whole match. As you see, the West competitor, Benny Ramos, had the other East competitor's head driven into his gut the whole time. And that may be a strategy for all East players, so we'll have to see how the other matches go.
All right, coming out now at 107 pounds for West, we've got George Willis Jr., and for East, Scott Harper. I'd say we've had some excellent action thus far. Let's just see what we've got coming up. This is an exciting sport, high school. You know, some of these people will be going on to college and maybe even the pro ranks, the WWF someday.
Yes, Mike, we might see some Hulk Hogan's or Junkyard Dogs here tonight.
All right, doing a little psych job here. George Willis is delaying his entrance a little bit. He should be coming out shortly, giving him some last-minute strategy, fitting him. John Seymour is of West, the coach for West, of course, of the wrestling team in his first year, doing a fine job. The referee coming over to see what the story is. He finally is out, and they will shake hands. We have Scott Harper from East, George Willis from West, facing off at 107 pounds. All right, they're still on their feet. They lock horns. And as you noticed, Adam, East did go under there and is driving his head into the gut. Perhaps that is a strategy. They have to break because they're on the red area.
Yeah, Mike, it seems like that is a standard procedure for all East players. They may cause a penalty against the West player and points, or that may be an offensive maneuver gaining points. But no matter what, they've been doing something right with that move.
Yes, they have, and with 138 now, 137 in the period. And we've got no points scored by the referee there. And then we have a near pin now. West player in trouble quickly. George Willis bridging out there. We saw Benny Ramos able to do that. And with 1:19 left, the first points are scored. There's four for the East team, and that's Scott Harper with 4 points. And right now, George Willis does not have any points. He got into early trouble. We'll see what happens as this match progresses. The period continues. Time marches on here. George Willis able to get on his feet, taken down nicely by Scott Harper. No points scored there, although we had some excellent agility shown. George Willis again in a near pin situation. 2 points scoring there. 2 more points, and it goes up to 6 for the East player. That's Scott Harper with 50 seconds left in the first period. We have another 2 points scored for West this time. It's George Willis with 2, and he's on top driving. He's in this match right now, only down 6-2. We'll see what he can do here. Now the East wrestler, Scott Harper, trying to force a break almost there, and he is able to do so, but George Willis able to take his man down, but then a nice reversal there by Scott Harper, and he gets 2 points for that, of course, and it's now 8-2. Showing some excellent agility with 13 seconds left in the first period. We have George Willis again in trouble. He's almost on the red area, which would force a break, of course. And the referee signaling, let's see, he's looking, searching to see, and there's the period. Adam, that period seemed to be dominated by Scott Harper.
Yes, Mike, they came on early. East was strong. They won the junior varsity meet. They won the first match of the varsity meet, and they are feeling strong. As you may have noticed, the West players were kind of consoling Benny Ramos, and I think that may have gotten some of the players down. And towards the end of the first period, it got our friend George Willis up.
Okay, so now George Willis again in early trouble here in the second period as we approach the midway mark of this match. And we'll see what happens. He's trying to bridge out or reverse this if he can in some way. But Scott Harper doing an excellent job just driving his way on, and even if he doesn't get the pin, he just has to have a few more points to go for that victory. But he is trying to turn his man over at this point in time, and I would say that he has shown some excellent agility. And there we have a nice athletic maneuver. Trying to go for the pin there was Scott Harper. Put himself in some danger and did allow George Willis to escape, and he did score 2 points for that. And now it's 8-4. That's as close as he's been. It's 4 points. If he can turn his man over, might be able to get another 2 and cut this lead to within 2. He keeps slipping his man over, and George Willis, again, the momentum has switched back and forth in this match. He's got a leg, but the East man, Scott Harper, wisely flips over there to avoid the move that George Willis was trying to initiate. Now we have, a near pin again. Near pin again, and George Willis able to escape 3 times already this match. George Willis, perhaps not executing as well as he would like with only 24 seconds left in this period. It would be a shame if there was a pin, but Scott Harper is driving George Willis, and we have a pin. There is the pin. So George Willis was not able to escape 4 times. He was able to escape once, twice, 3 times, but that last time, his both shoulders did touch down, and oh my, we had Scott Harper from East winning the match, and thus far they have won both matches. And now for the Lions, we will have Evan Graham at 114 pounds and Robert Kaufman in that same weight class, facing off right now on Wednesday night's main event here on Channel 18. I hope you're enjoying it. All right, they lock up there, shake hands, and lock horns early. There's Evan trying to get on top there, trying to flip his man over, trying to get his man to the ground, and then they're on the red. And Evan, he looks pretty psyched up here. He's got a lot of energy in him, Adam.
Well, he should. He's a veteran of the varsity team. I think in his freshman year he was on varsity, and he's had some experience. I remember watching the match last year. Evan was all over the place, tried to take the initiative all the time.
All right, there, just his headgear fell off. He's going to have to go back to the coach, or he might just fasten it on himself there.
Evan seems to be reaching the perimeter, actually forcing the East player to the perimeter. I think he wants to stay more to the interior and go to the close inner body moves. But Evan likes to be agile as the 100-pounders and the 107s and go all over the field, perhaps tire out his opponent.
All right, so now we've got Evan and this Robert Kaufman doing a pretty impressive showing against this veteran. We don't know much about Rob, but he's on top this time. This time we see the Westman on the bottom there, and perhaps that's a veteran move. If you're able to turn your man over from the bottom position, it seems to be quite an advantage here with 1:29 left in the first period. There we have Evan beautifully executing an escape there. He's got one leg of Rob Kaufman. Now he's in a headlock. Rob Kaufman has Evan Graham in the headlock. Drives him down. Now they're almost out of the mat area again. Looks like they're going to step on the red area, and they do, and they're going to have to come back to the center of the ring. They've done that, 4 times already this match? They seem to have a lot of energy, these 114-pounders. Okay, so now Evan again trying to... Oh, and he picks his man up and throws him down. But no points executed. And he's got 2 points for West. And as Evan takes the lead, the first lead that a West wrestler has had all night. Oh, my. Well, there. So Evan taking the lead, and he will take the upper position with 58 seconds left in the first period. Time resumes once more. Evan immediately driving his man in, driving his head and shoulder and the entire left part of his body and his legs and everything, taking all the muscles into the back area. Trying to flip his man over as well, because the pin, of course, as nicely executed by Scott Harper, is something that Evan Graham would just like to return the favor in.
Scott Harper right there was kind of crawling on his elbows, trying to reach the outer perimeter so he could get a clean start, but it happened anyway. Evan is trying to take every initiative, and he's flinging them all over the mat.
That's true, and again, he forces Robert Kaufman outside of the arena, and they will square off once again. They've been at it many times. No points executed as yet. They have Evan now rises to his feet, a very strong 114-pounder. He's in excellent shape, works out in the gym often, and it looks like they're heading towards that red area one more time. But Evan is able to finally accomplish something, although the East player is on top. He is not in control, and now they will break once more. It's 2-1 right now. He was the East player, Robert Kaufman, was able to glean a point. And Evan trying to press his advantage. He dives underneath. Now they're both up once more. See him, that Robert Kaufman said something to the ref there, but was ignored. Now we have him driving over time, and he's got 2 points. And Evan Graham goes up 4-1 at the end of the first period. Adam.
Well, you know, Mike, Evan seemed there. He wanted to end that match right there, but he couldn't, of course, with 11 seconds left on the clock. He seems to be the favorite in this match by the audience, West and East alike. And I think Evan really wants to win this match. I think he lost last year on technicality, and I think he has something with East that makes him try even harder than he usually does.
I think that's so with all the players, and Evan right now has a 4-1 lead as we're in the second period here. was a long first period, only because they stepped out of the mat so many times it stopped the time a little bit. There's Evan breaking the grip. He's back looking for where he's going to join. And we have him underneath at this juncture, trying to rise up, flip his man over, and go for that pin. And he's able to do just that almost. He's got his man. If he could just drive those shoulders into the ground, he was very close to doing so there. But he did manage to get 2 points, which was also good. Gave him a nice little breathing room of 5 points, 6-1 at this juncture. They're almost out of the arena one more time. He's trying to turn his man around before they exit the arena, but cannot do so. Therefore, they will go back to the center of the ring to start one more time with 1 minute and 23 seconds left in the second period. Evan seems to be having a little trouble with that headgear. He's having a little problem. He's been falling off every now and then. Has to re-put it on. Do you think that the East player is clawing at that a little bit? Perhaps that's the problem.
Well, as I said earlier, Mike, in all the matches we've seen so far, East have been trying to drive the West player's head into the body, and happens sometimes vice versa. So if Evan may like his equipment a little bit loose, and because of this move executed by this East player, Robert Kaufman, maybe that's why his headgear keeps falling off.
All right, so we've got 6-2 right now, since on that little maneuver, Robert Kaufman was able to execute an escape there. But now we have Evan Graham going back to the center with a 4-point advantage with 1:14 left in the second period. He goes under once more, rises up, is going to go for the legs, and does so. He's able to, the East player has his arm there, so he's going to go out. So they'll have to break. That was intentional, but it was a smart move, a veteran move from a veteran, Evan Graham. As Evan once again going for those legs, something he's been doing the entire match, almost has the man over, does manage to get 2 points there for that maneuver, for the takedown. Now both men are up on their feet, but Evan seems to have slight more control and the advantage, able to pretty much do what he wants, driving the head of Robert Kaufman into the mat at this time, then looking to turn the man over, go for that pin. All wrestlers going for the pin at all times. As we saw, Scott Harper did that before.
That's right, Mike. Evan, right now, it looks like he's going to win. He has a 6-point advantage. And right now, many people would think he would just take the defensive and go for the decision. But it looks like he wants the pin more than anything else.
Well, there is still 1 period left. So, the East player doesn't have a chance to come back. Oh, and it looks like we had a dangerous maneuver going on there. So we'll have the East player on the bottom. 8-2 still. 19 seconds left in the second period. And as you may have noticed, this match has been a bit lengthy because they have been driving each other outside of the ring area. Now Evan controlling, trying to flip his man over, but he's got his legs locked. And now 2 points go to the East wrestler, and it's 8-5. And with 1 second left, Evan will get a little breather, something he probably needs at this point. Evan got himself in a little bit of trouble there at the end of that period.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. Now there's a little bit of breather, and I think Evan here has the advantage in the beginning with East player on the ground, and I think he may try the defensive right now. Of course, he's always wanted to go for the pin. He's that kind of a player that always likes to go to get as much out of a match as he can, and I think he feels he has this one, but he will try to take a little bit more on defensive.
Well, I think Evan, going to go for all that offense as he can, and when he sees the clock maybe at, 30 seconds, if he's still got a nice lead, he'll be able to ease out a victory. But you can't really ever let up your concentration in these matches, because if you do, you could get pinned 1, 2, 3, just like that. Right now, though, Evan showing his veteran maneuver ability, just driving and grinding out a victory, trying to keep his man in the area that is allowed for wrestling so that they won't have to stop the clock, because time is on his side right now, and I think we're going to see a break here momentarily. But Evan, as you see, driving his man back into the white area. He's on top. Now they're tangling each other. Looks like a pretzel there for a moment. And then they're outside of the ring, and we'll come back with 1:06 left. But you see Evan trying to keep his man in as long as possible. A veteran maneuver, isn't it, Adam?
Yes, it is, Mike, and it comes from experience, which we have already said Evan has. Evan, again, has the advantage starting here. And there's been a lot of stoppages of play because Evan forces his man out almost, I'd say at about 20 to 25-second intervals. So Evan, I think, going for the pin, he has a minute left. And he'd like to go for any point he can. Right now, the points has just been changed 9-5, so he has a 4-point lead, but I don't think he'll go down on his defense.
Oh, he's almost got a pin there. Driving his man shoulder into the ground, but we had Robert Kaufman there execute a nice maneuver to get out of that, and they're out of the ring one more time. At least 10 times this match in 3 periods for 6 minutes with 39 seconds left.
I just saw there, Evan had his man in his control so much. The referee was running all around. May have blocked the camera angle there, but Evan is in control with 39 seconds. He wants to go for the quick pin. He's going to use all his energy because this is the last period.
That's right, and of course, Robert Kaufman, after being driven around by Evan this entire match, probably a bit tired, and Evan will be able to grind out a victory, but of course, it's that moral victory of a pin that he's always looking for, and Evan's such a trooper, you know, he'll always be in there battling away against these East players and anyone else.
The score has just changed 10-5. Evan now has a 5-point lead.
And with only 10 seconds left, doesn't look like Evan's going to get the pin, but he's going to get the victory and put West in striking distance. He has stopped East momentum, something that's very important.
2-1. This match is over.
And there's Evan Graham with the win at 114 pounds. The first win of the evening for West, stopping East momentum momentarily. And coming up next, Adam, why don't you introduce our next match?
For the Lions, Brian McHenry weighing 121. And for the Cougars, Dave Backel. Oh, excuse me, it was not Dave Backel. For 121, it's Brian Sloan.
Thank you, Adam. And as we're ready to get this match underway, West will be coming out momentarily. And we have 4 East now. Let's see, they're going to square off here. There's West on top. Now they lock horns first. They separate for the moment. Eyeing each other out. Brian McHenry, a junior, has been on this team a few years, and he's got some experience behind him, knows what to do in these situations. Again, these 2 players at 121 pounds look pretty evenly matched. Now Brian gets 2 points, takes the lead. Maybe we're seeing a possible rising tide here for West. Taking the early lead at 1 minute and 34 seconds in the first period. Of course, no guarantee that he'll win, but you know, this is a good sign for Brian McHenry. All right, there's the whistle, and Brian, of course, still in control from that upper position. Brian Sloan, of course, is also trying to get out of that. So we've got 2 Bryans out there. The Battle of the Bryans. Adam, your thoughts on it?
Well, the Battle of the Bryans, as we call it up here in the commentating booth, is looks like an even match so far. He's only gaining by 2 points, but I think getting the early lead can do something to a player rather than, you know, being trailed by 2. The East player right now, Brian Sloan, may be thinking, okay, I'm only down by 2. We still got 2 periods and a half period left. But I think it's better to get the early advantage than to have to be behind by just a little.
That's true, and as we noticed, Evan was able to build on that little advantage that he got. Now Brian McHenry doing a nice job of driving Brian Sloan around the mat. Still in control here. But then Brian Sloan from underneath able to pull Brian McHenry almost over there, over that center of gravity, which might change the tide here. Brian McHenry looking for the proper hold that he wants to use to go for that pin. Now we have Brian Sloan bridging up there, using those intense back muscles to try and get Brian McHenry off him. We've got a whistle. And it's going to be a break there because there really was no action for quite a bit of time. Brian Sloan will go down. Brian McHenry will come up on top again with 35 seconds left in the first period, and he still maintains that 2-0 advantage. All right, he's able to keep control now. He's got that leg, or he had that leg. He let go, and he's working the left side of the body. Now he's got the leg. And he brings his man back down to the ground, trying to control it and score those points. But Brian Sloan doing a good job of keeping things even. With 13 seconds, Brian McHenry showing that he has the potential to win this match. Brian Sloan finds himself in a real battle, trying to trip his man down there, and does so very nicely. With 1 second left, no points were scored. So Brian McHenry looking good here in the first period. Little talking to there by the referee to Brian Sloan. We don't know what was said there, but Brian McHenry will be on the bottom here. in the beginning of this second period. And he does maintain the lead at 2-0. And we'll see how he's able to fare in this second period, 2 minutes. And things are underway. Brian Sloan and Brian McHenry almost turning things over. He's already up on his back, but he's driven back down by Brian Sloan. And now we see the legs flailing away in the air. Brian McHenry's still on the bottom, still trying to get his way out and turn over so he can get some reversal and escape points if possible. Meanwhile, Brian Sloan driving Mr. McHenry all the way into the mat. Still got his side, got his leg, one of his legs, and he looks really unable to move at this time. He's got one hand. He finally frees that one hand. And Brian McHenry not doing anything, but Brian Sloan really is not able to take advantage of this situation. Brian McHenry just showing a lot of strength at keeping the situation static. We have a near pin there, but then things are turned over, but 2 points are given to Brian Sloan for that excellent maneuver that he was able to execute with that near pin. So we've got an even match here. The first even match we've had, Adam. First even match we've had, and it's been a doozy, hasn't it?
Yes, it has, Mike. In the first period, Brian Sloan of East didn't have the right stuff, quoting movie. But in the second half, he's been taking control most of it. And during the first half of the second period, he really hasn't gotten any points, even though he was in control. He finally got the 2 points, and now it's under 30 seconds. And another 2 points. Now it's 4-2. And with about 20 seconds left, they go out.
All right, so there's another break as they leave the circle, and Brian Sloan takes the lead at 4-2. This has been a much more even match, though, and really anybody can win it. Brian McHenry got the early lead. Then a period has waned since that point in time, and Mr. Sloan here able to take the lead at this Battle of the Bryans. At 121 pounds, you're seeing some tremendous action here at the Cherry Hill East Gymnasium on Wednesday night's main event. 6 seconds left in the second period, and Brian Sloan still leading. Brian just trying to wait out this period, I think, and is able to do so very nicely. So now he will have to go for the lead. He'll have to tie first. And as he fixes his headgear, we've got a little break here, and now they're about ready to lock horns one more time for the last time. In this last period, just underway, Brian Sloan with the lead at 4-2. There's Brian McHenry now. There's Brian Sloan getting the leg. He's got the leg. He's going to try and drive that man down. No point executed as yet. Brian McHenry staying up nicely. Finally drives Brian down. Gets 2 points. Takes that 6-2 lead. Building on the lead. And right now he's got the best of things. But now Brian McHenry trying to turn things over. Unable to do so as yet. Very difficult. We saw Evan have some success in that region, turning the man over. But Brian McHenry not as successful as he would like to be here. It's 6-2 and 125 left in the final period. Have to get some quick points here or go for that pin. All right, so we've got Brian McHenry now. He gets up, but he's driven back down to the ground. No points given there. Brian Sloan trying to grind out a victory with 1:03 left here in the period. All right, putting on some pressure now. Still got that 6-2 lead. McHenry now driven back down to the ground. He's really tied up. He's got that leg, and Sloan's been working that leg throughout the match. Something that has given him the advantage here at 6-2 with 42 seconds left. And we have Brian McHenry trying to turn his man over. As he does so, they have to break.
At the break right before this one, the coaches of both coaches, we have two coaches on West team, they both told our competitor here, Brian McHenry, what to do, and they used Evan Graham example about what to do. They told him to grab his head right by the throat, and I think he tried to do that, but I think the East competitor has the advantage in this third period.
Certainly does, and he's got that leg one more time. And at a 6-2 lead with 17 seconds left, we're going to have to see Brian Henry put on a tremendous spurt of energy to go for the pin, and that's what they're motioning for on the west sideline. They're very adamant here. Looks like we've got another break, and 8 seconds left. Brian McHenry will go for the pin, or Brian Sloan will grind out a victory. Who will win this Battle of the Bryans? You'll find out in 8 seconds.
8 seconds isn't a lot of time for a pin, and right now we have 5, and it looks like Brian Sloan still has the advantage with 1 second, and there's another win for East right there. The team score right now is 3 for West and 13 for East. So West is behind by 10 points right now. Right now, for the next match, which is the weight class of 128, we'll have from West Keith Mahan and from East Dave Backel.
All right, as these competitors square off here, we've got 128 pounds, both men.
I think the announcer there made a mistake, and so did we. For West, it is not Keith Mahan. It is Kevin Lockwood, so we're sorry about that.
It's all right, and Kevin Lockwood is one of the co-captains at being a senior, and he's been on this team many years. He's a veteran of this team, and we've got Dave Bacall out there for East. Let's see how these two competitors fare. We're getting up there in the weight classes. We're up to 128 pounds. We will get up to over 200 pounds once we hit the heavyweights. So you've got a lot of action, wrestling action coming up here, so stay tuned. Remember, you're watching the Channel 18 Public Television Network.
Right there, they have their arms locked as if they were in some kind of square dancing competition, but they're not partners by any means, are they, Mike?
Well, no, they're competitors here, and there's no love lost between these two teams. Although there haven't been any points scored here, maybe that's just a test. And as I say that, of course, the East competitor there, Dave Bacall, does score 2 points. We will see what happens from here. Kevin Lockwood, I'm sure in his final match against East in his West career, of course, will be looking to win this match. Will be a nice way to leave West, of course, once after graduating from this year. But let's see what he's able to do. Right now, he's in a little bit of trouble, but maybe he'll just grind out this period and come back in the second period. Oh, he's turning his man over, and he's got one shoulder down. He's got 2 points, and what a veteran maneuver there.
The 2 points right there was for the reversal, and I think he'll just try to keep control. Oh, they go out of the mat right now. They have a break with 11 seconds left, and I don't think any points will be scored in this period, but I think the West competitor has gotten his confidence back and may be able to get more points and perhaps a pin in the next period.
Well, he probably just made a little lapse of concentration there, caused a minor error, and allowed East to score the 2 points. But now he's going to try to put on some veteran skills and is able to score. East, of course, then, as I say that, is able to score another 2 points. And at the end of the first period, takes the lead, 4-2. We'll reset here, a quick break, and another 2-minute period coming up. And we've got 4 minutes left in this match. 128 pounds, Kevin Lockwood against David Bacall. All right, Kevin now gets the legs down there, trying to do as Evan Graham did. Follow Evan's method and follow the winning ways. Evan Graham, thus far, the sole victor for Cherry Hill West this evening, and I'm sure he doesn't want that, and neither does the West team. They want to win this meet. So Kevin Lockwood now rises up, and we'll see if he's got what it takes to win this match. Right now, again, it looks like we're going to have a near break. We're near the red circle. Kevin Lockwood trying to bring his man back, and is able to get 2 points before the break. Another veteran maneuver there, wasn't it, Adam?
Yes, it was, Mike, but I also like to say that there's been 5 games, East-West, of all different kinds of sports, girls basketball, boys basketball, field hockey, soccer, and gymnastics, and out of that, East has won 4 and West has only won 1. And I think West wants to even the score about their competitions in all sports. And I think Coach Seymour is trying to do that here tonight.
Okay, and of course we'll be bringing you the rest of the Cherry Hill East versus Cherry Hill West competitions as they come later on in the year, and I hope to be there bringing them to you. We've got now Kevin Lockwood on top, was able to tie it once more at 4-4 with 56 seconds left in the second period, showing some excellent maneuverability, showing his agility, but David Bacall not showing any fear, this veteran wrestler here at the high school level. He's able to take everything right to him, and right now they're going a tooth for a tooth, an eye for an eye here, and things are even. But Kevin may be able to maintain control there, although David almost made an escape. With 32 seconds left, he's driving David down. Takes a lot of energy to try to just stay up there, and perhaps he'll just sit it right out this period. But he's got to be wary of Kevin Lockwood. And we've got a break, and no points scored for either side. Just saying that there was a long period of time there without any action. So we will have Kevin Lockwood starting on top with 22 seconds left in the second period. There he is, and he keeps control. He keeps the pressure on. He keeps Dave down. He turns Dave around. Kevin Lockwood here trying to go for the first pin the West would like to have for the evening. They have one win. East has 3 wins, and they only have one pin out of those 3 wins. Kevin Lockwood would love to even the pin score there and make the match score a little bit closer as well. But he'll have to do it in the third period, because at the end of the second period, we've got an all tied up score here at 4-all. Adam, Kevin's strategy, your thoughts on that in the third period?
Well, I think he wrestles sort of like Evan. He likes to take control, and he likes to be directing the direction where he is flinging his competitor. Now, I think I don't know if he and Evan have the same strategy or they work together or whatever, but I think that he seems to be doing something right. Although the East competitor is doing equally as well. Just looking at the points, it's 4-4 with a little bit less than 2 minutes left in the match, and this will all decide where it goes. And right now, the East competitor does have the advantage.
Well, that's true. Kevin Lockwood made 2 attempts there to get up and escape, and get the points, perhaps even a reversal there as well. But thus far, Dave Bacall taking everything to him. Looks like they're almost out. It's a near pin. 2 points scored there for West, I believe. I think Kevin Lockwood did get the 2 points there. No, excuse me. Well, we'll see. They haven't put him up there yet. Now they have, and they've got 6, so it was the East player, excuse me. Dave Bacall, again, takes the lead. Kevin Lockwood's going to have to try to make a quick escape here with 1:32 left. David Bacall, his shoelace came undone and just redid that.
And Mark, that wouldn't happen if they were wearing Velcro shoes.
Well, that's true. Maybe they will institute that one day in wrestling. I think Hulk Hogan wears Velcro, and maybe it's time that Kevin Lockwood did as well. Dave Bacall certainly could make some good use out of him. All right, he's leading 6-4 right now with 1:19 left. Does Kevin Lockwood have enough strength in him to come back, get a draw there, pull out maybe perhaps a victory as well? He's got to get on top to do it. And you see the West players urging him on as much as they possibly can. Of course, East trying to tell Dave Bacall, drive and grind out a victory. He's going to give him a tremendous lead, but Kevin Lockwood's got that leg. I think he's going for that final surge of energy. He might have it there. Looks like he's almost got it. Looks like he's almost got that escape there. Oh, but David Bacall doing a nice job of making sure his man doesn't, and he's almost got his man turned over now. So we've got a different shift in momentum with only 35 seconds left. Time's running out here for Kevin Lockwood. What will happen? Oh my, I can't believe this. Look at this, Kevin Lockwood. Look at all the energy he's putting forth. You can see the consternation on his face. You can see all the work he's put into this. You can see what this means to him. But he's only got 18 seconds left. Will he be able to do it? Ladies and gentlemen, you and I will find out at the same time here this evening. Here comes Kevin Lockwood. We've got a stoppage, and this is his last chance. Kevin Lockwood's only got 10 seconds to finish off, to try to tie this match up. Coming from behind, it's going to be very difficult. He's got to escape here. He's only got 10 seconds. It's going to be tough, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, but he's almost able to do so. Will he have enough time? He's got 6, 5. He's almost turned his man over. Oh, only 3 seconds left. He's not going to do it. And he's not able to do it. And the win. Oh, he is able to get 1 point for the escape, but 1 point as well for the East player, and he loses by the margin of 7-5. So David McCall wins it for East at the 128-pound class. All right, we've got the next match going to come up now momentarily.
Right now, the team scores for the Cougars, they have 16, and the visitors, the Lions here, only have 3. Evan Graham's match is the only one, and that was by decision.
All right, so now we've got facing off at the 134-pound weight class. For West, we have Scott Orman. For East, we will have Gary Goldblatt. Scott almost taking his man down there, trying to drive Gary into the match there, into the mat area. We'll see now they're on the red, and they're going to break and resume action in the center of the ring. All right, here we go again as we square off. Scott Orman trying to show us what he can do this evening. Like to notch up another win for West. They're down quite a bit here with 1:30 left in the first period, 16-3, as Adam just mentioned. And Adam, why don't you tell us now? Why don't you do a little commentary here on this match?
Okay, sure, Mike. Now they're both holding hands. And as I said before, they're not partners. Right now, they're rubbing heads together. And they're almost out of bounds. Now, they're still being thrown around. Usually, once you get higher in weights, they're not being as maneuverable. But it looks like we have a lot of agile athletes, both on West teams and on East teams. Okay, right now, East is using their already obvious maneuver to drive their head right into the gut of the other player, and it looks like the referee signaled for some more points. East is now 5-0.
Okay, so he was able to do that by the takedown and the back points there. Able to get those 5 points quickly. Scott Orman in some early trouble. First period almost over with. Scott, he's a junior on this team. And this team is comprised of a great many juniors as well as some sophomores. And there is an occasional freshman on here. There's a Keith Mahon on here who is a freshman. With 20 seconds left in the first period, we'll have Scott Orman on the bottom, of course. And we'll have Gary on top to start things off here. Gary Goldblatt against Scott Orman. Scott was not able to execute the escape there. And with 14 seconds left in the first period, he is getting the worst of it here. 5-0 at this point in time. Now we see that Gary Goldblatt trying to drive into the body of Scott Orman, and has been doing so. It does lead 5-0. He had a near pin there and was able to execute well and get 3 back points out of it. Now Scott Orman will be starting from the bottom once more and be trying to escape, but Gary Goldblatt, I don't think is going to let him go. He does not. And Gary now in control of this match, driving Scott down. However, Scott trying to escape there, trying to turn over, trying to cause a reversal. Something he hasn't been able to do this match. He hasn't been in this match quite yet. Maybe he will get into it though, and there he is, turning things around. He turns himself around. Now he's going to try to get some kind of control, perhaps score some points here. All right, we've got a stoppage. And we're going to start things up once more. Scott Orman will be on the bottom. A very difficult position to start from. But of course, that's the way it is at this point in time. And Scott has a near escape there. Then the momentum shifts once again over to Gary Goldblatt. Gary seeming to dominate this match for East. What's been the cause for Gary's domination during this match, Adam?
Well, Mike, I think he used that head and gut play. I don't know if that's a standard procedure for the East players. It isn't for the West players. And once he had that, I think he may have hit a pressure point on the West player. Maybe not. Maybe just it's a bad night for the West player. But as you see, Gary Goldblatt is dominating at this point.
Well, Scott Ortman still gaining experience here in the wrestling circuit, and Gary Goldblatt, showing his stuff this evening and showing that he too wants to win. I'm sure Robert Kaufman doesn't feel too well on the East team. He is the only person who has lost for East this evening, and I'm sure Evan Graham's flying high for the West team subsequently because of that, because he is the only person that has won on the West team. So I'm sure another West player would love to win. With Scott Ortman, I'm sure would love to be the second one to do it. It's something that he could really look up to, and it would be a very good win. East is a very strong team. Coach Seymour promised us some surprises, and maybe Scott Ortman will be one of them. We'll have to see. Right now, though, there's only 35 seconds left in the second period, and Scott Ortman is looks a bit tired and looks like he's not executing what he wants to execute. Gary Goldblatt is executing his match. He is showing the moves that he wants to do. He's able to dominate. He's able to stay on top. Although he hasn't scored points other than in the early going, he hasn't let Scott score any points either, so he's able to stay ahead, which is all he has to do. It's now 1 second left, and there's a period for you. And as we head into the final period, 6-5-0, Gary Goldblatt is on top, as has been most of the East players during this particular meet this evening. All right, and they meet up once more. And Scott Ortman this time, look at the scores and points. He goes down, he goes under Gary Goldblatt. Let's see what he can do from that position.
Scott Ortman, I think here is going for the pin right now. I don't think he feels that he can win by decision, keep getting points, getting into where he's on defense and then getting out of it with reversals and scoring points. He has to go for the pin now. He hasn't gotten any points. The East player is up by 5, and there is about a minute 35 seconds left. So I think it's either a pin or a loss for Scott Ortman.
Well, that's probably true, and I'm sure even if he's going to lose, he doesn't want to be shut out. So because he really hasn't been in this match, or he hasn't been shut out of this match, he's been not being able to generate any kind of meaningful offense, as you may know by the score, for that matter. But Gary Goldblatt, of course, that's a credit to him as well, because he's been putting on a great show of offense, and his defense has been excellent as well. As you see here, Scott is driving, has a shot for some offensive scoring ability, and he does have potential. This wrestler, certainly. Scott has potential to win a great many matches ahead in his high school career and college, wherever else he decides to go with it. Right now, though, Gary Goldblatt's teaching him a lesson in wrestling and gets another 2 points. So with 7 points, with only a minute left, you know that Scott Ortman's got to go for that pin. But does he have the energy? Isn't the exhaustion factor taking heart now, Adam? The exhaustion factor. Your thoughts?
Well, I think the exhaustion factor is something that has to be considered, but I also think that he hasn't really been. Now is 8-0 in favor of the East player, and Scott Ortman really he hasn't gotten to this match. He has less than a minute. He has to go for the pin, but I don't think more than exhaustion. I think it's emotional. He hasn't gotten into the match. He hasn't really done anything of any existence to making this match gain towards him, and now it's 10 for the East player and 0 for West. He has to go for the pin, and he probably is exhausted, but I think he's trying for the pin. I think he's past exhaustion by this point.
Well, why don't you talk about the psychology of the wrestlers when they're out there?
Well, I think they're up there and they're psyched up. They get very nervous when they have to go, especially against East, cross-town rival. I think they're not pressured. The players don't get angry after a loss. They're more angry at themselves. So I think it's more, if they win, it's a high for them, and a high for the team and a high for the school. But I think it makes them feel better than it is benefiting for the team.
That may be true, and when they're out there, of course, they have a lot to contend with, but Scott was shut out of this match, loses 10-0. And that's to the match, and East domination continues, winning thus far 5 of the 6 matches. Now, Especially interesting matchup coming up because the co-captain Mike Seymour will be coming out, and he of course is the son of the coach, Sir John Seymour, and Joe Figaro will be coming out for East. Let's see how the coach's son does out here on this match today. Of course, perhaps even a bit more pride involved here. He's the co-captain, he's the coach's son, and he's also a junior, so he's got to show those underclassmen what he can do. But again, they're on the outside, and even in this high weight class that we're in already, 140 pounds, we're heading on up there. Still, we seem to be showing signs of agility, and I guess all the wrestlers will show that. Show a great deal of mobility in the ring. Mike Seymour doing a good job thus far, but again, they step on that red area, so they will have a break. Minute 36 left in the first period. And there we're underway once more. And Joe has a leg. He's probably going to bring Mike down and get the 2 points. But Mike showing some excellent strength and is able to take him down evenly, so no points are scored. Nice veteran maneuver there by Mike Seymour. All right, so now he gets a little advice from one of the West members of the West staff. And they lock horns again. And now he goes underneath, Mike Seymour for West does, and now he's back on top. Their heads right near each other, or locking in there. Right now, no one able to execute anything at this point in time. Now Mike Seymour able to get on top, going for that leg, trying to turn something over, but then now Joe Figaro trying to turn Mike Seymour over. The referee motioning that there are no points at the present time as they stay under this center spotlight arena. They're going to break because the headgear slipped there of Mike Seymour. A little break. 49 seconds left in the first period as he tends to that headgear. And there is Mike Seymour, and he gets on top this time. And now they're standing up. And as they do so, they're trying to execute a maneuver in which they will be able to score some points. Mike grabs for the leg there, but the East player, Joe Figaro, was able to get away. This time, Joe, though, was able to get Mike's leg. And he had it before. He does it one more time. No points scored there. Well, it looks like we have a near pin. 2 points scored for East. And now they're out on the red, and we will have a break. Another 2 points. So we have 4 points now for Joe Figaro. So Joseph Figaro showing Mike Seymour some excellent wrestling maneuverability here. And Mike might get a little talking to from the coach here after this particular match.
Well, Mike, I think the coach is very proud of him. Of course, he's his son, and now it's 4-0. But there's still. This is the end of the second period, I believe.
The first period.
This is the first period. I'm sorry. It's almost the second period, and that's the end of it. But it's only 0-4, and I think Mike Seymour has 2 incentives. He wants to win. He wants to win for his team. He wants to win for his school. He wants to win for his father. And I think he has some very strong motivations for him. And they start right away with Mike Seymour on the bottom, and the East player is grabbing him around the neck.
All right, well, the question is not whether he has the ability, but not whether he has the motivation, but does he have the ability to win this match? And we think he does. Or will he be able to overcome Joe Figaro and his 4-point lead? We shall see as this match progresses. Right now, hasn't been able to score any points. Seems to be in a tad of trouble. There he is. He has Joe Figaro near where he wants him. He's almost got him turned over, and he does get the 2 points there. So he cut the lead to 2 now. Can he tie up this match? Will he be able to make it 4-4 momentarily? It looks like he's got Joe Figaro in a tad of trouble here. Looks like they're very close to being out, though, and might have a break here, and looks like they do. So we have a break with 1:12 left in the second period. Joe Figaro is on top, but he will be starting on the bottom here, and Mike Seymour will be coming in, making sure he does not escape. And there is Mike Seymour, and he did prevent the 1 point there, escape. So now he's going to try to turn the man over, perhaps get some back points. Of course, go for the pin, as always, which is something that is necessary in wrestling. Now Joe Figaro trying to rise. Doesn't seem like he's going to be able to do so, though. Mike Seymour not letting him. Now both men are up. And Joe Figaro is able to turn around, and for that, it will get 1 point. Taking the 3-point lead. Now he's up one more time. Mike Seymour trying to control things. Does go take the man down. But now Joe Figaro almost turns him over. Now they're outside of the ring and no points scored. They will come right back with 32 seconds in the second period. All right, 5-2 here. Joe Figaro on top. But now Mike Seymour has a chance to turn the man down. Let's see if he's able to do so. He is, but no points are scored there. Going for the pin. He's almost got his man over. Then Joe Figaro was able to step out. Of course, he does score 2 points for that, though. It's 5-4, and we see the West crowd chanting here, stomping on the old bleachers. And we've got a break. The headgear problem once more. 6 seconds left in the second period. Only down by the slimmest of margins. 1 point. Mike Seymour looking for the West's second victory here.
In this period, Mike has to prevent the escape right away because in 6 seconds, there still is time for the escape and giving the East player 1 point, making them go up by 2. And even the slightest edge is enough to win a match here in the Eastern.
All right, at the end of the period, no points were scored, however. And it's 5-4. Mike Seymour will have another opportunity here, but he will start on the bottom. So he's going to be looking to escape and tie things up here. Let's see if he's able to do so. All right, there's Joe Figaro. He's got the position. There's Mike Seymour now. He's got his legs up. Now he's going to try and stand up. Let's see if he's able to do so. He gets the head. He gets his man. Now he's underneath. Now Joe Figaro looking to drive things, looking to score some points. Let's see if anyone does. Oh, and he gets 2 points. Now that he gets 1 for the escape, 2 for the reversal. So he takes a 2-point lead. Now he's going to try and ground out a victory, and we've got some momentum shifting here in this match. Oh, my. And here is Mike Seymour showing us the stuff he's made of. Perhaps that tremendous motivational factor finally came through. He's got to stop the escape here, though, and the reversal. He's got to take his man down. He's got to go for that pin. Joe Figaro is able to get up, but he's not able to reverse things right now. And now, going for the near pin there is Mike Seymour. Does not quite have it. 1 minute and 2 seconds left, under a minute now. Left in the period. He's trying to grind out a victory. He's driving his man. He's up by 7-5. Any kind of reversal will tie this match. He doesn't want that to happen. Here comes Joe Figaro, almost with the escape. Doesn't quite have it yet. Will Mike Seymour be able to bring him down? And he is, and they go out of bounds. What a maneuver there. Smart move on Mike's part there, wasn't it, Adam?
Yes, I think he saw that the East player was going to get out of his hole and get to 2 points of a reversal tied up. So he rather force him out and start all over again and get a clean break than get the 2 points and tie this thing up. Because at this point, he may be trying to take the defensive and make sure he doesn't get out so he can win by a decision.
That's right. Time is on Mike Seymour's side here. And let's see if he's able to pull off a victory. There's under 30 seconds now. He's trying to hold him. He's trying to hold him. But look at Joe Figaro's strength. Look at the grit here. But Mike Seymour hanging on with a grip of iron. I haven't seen such strength. Mike Seymour with a tremendous motivation.
This has been the most exciting match so far. The crowd's in pandemonium.
Oh, my. And Vince McMahon temporarily stepped on the stage here. But we're back now.
Later in the broadcast, we'll have a visit from Lord Alfred Hayes of the WWF commentating team.
That's right, and we'll be looking forward to that. But right now, we're looking at Mike Seymour looking to win the second West match. He's only got to hold on for 5 more seconds. Can he do it, ladies and gentlemen? Look at this, going for the escape. Joe Figaro fighting to the last, but Mike Seymour pulls out a victory. Mike Seymour with the second West victory, beating Joe Figaro at 140 pounds.
At 147, fourth line. Tony Camineri for the Cougars, Mike
All right.
McAleer.
At 147, we'll have Tony Papinari for West. It might have a little momentum here. And for East, Michael McAleer. So out of this fighting town at Cherry Hill, we've got 2 wrestlers squaring off at 147 pounds. Tony Papinari, Michael McAleer. We'll see who wins this match. West now with their second match victory. East, though, still dominating the scoreboard in the match, in the meet. Now they have it 20-6. 2 points scored East quickly there by Michael McAleer. And he's got Papineri in trouble, but Papineri is able to turn over to avoid the pinning situation. All right, there is Tony now trying to cause some havoc here. And we've got Tony now as they get outside. We've got a minute 23 left and 5-0 lead for Michael McAleer from East.
That last move there almost looked like a body slam, and body slams aren't illegal, so it obviously wasn't. But he did slam him down on the mat, and probably took a little bit of the fight out of him. Right now, the East player.
Okay, this time Michael McAleer, who happens to be East coach's son. So we had Mike Seymour win for West, and Michael McAleer now, told to us by our statistician team of Mr. Hampson and David Gregory, keeping the stats for us at all these meets, along with Noah Mulone, of course, and doing a fine job tonight on the camera, along with Joshua Baronoff. We'd like to thank them all. And Michael McAleer, the son of East coach, right now has a 7-point lead. He's shutting out Mr. Papineri here. I'm sure he doesn't like that. But Michael McAleer, well, he probably had the same motivational factors that Mike Seymour had. So we've got now McAleer drives Papineri outside of the ring, onto the safety mat outside of the actual wrestling mat. And now he will start on the bottom, look for the escape, look to try to score some points here because the first period's almost gone by. This match is almost the third over. So what would you say about Mike's wrestling thus far in the match, Adam?
Well, Mike, I think he has the same motivation, as you said, as Mike Seymour did. against the mat.
That's right. Greg Casamento goes from 2 down, goes down from 2 down, 7 down to a pin. So what a win for Greg Casamento. We have Rob Velde for the heavyweights for East, and for West, it's Jason Hamilton. Final match of the evening at the heavyweights, so let's enjoy this one. I hope you've enjoyed this evening because it's been a wonderful evening of wrestling on the high school level. It's been very exciting matches, and we'll recap that all after this heavyweight match. Here comes Jason Hamilton and Rob Velde locking on here, and you can see these are some big men, each over 200 pounds. Thus far, they've both been on their feet the entire match, and finally, Jason Hamilton was down on his knees for a moment, but gets back up. He's going to try and hip toss, looks like Rob Velde over. Let's see if he's able to do so. Right now, neither man has really been able to move each other much. Looks like two bulls locking horns there. Oh, but now 2 points for Jason Hamilton. Strikes early blood. Oh, and 1 point for Rob Velde because they say Jason Hamilton had an illegal maneuver there on top of a Roberto there. And now they're going to explain this. Looks like the ref is going to explain this to the East coach for the moment here, or one of the East coaching staff anyway. Meanwhile, Jason Hamilton is waiting to recommence this match. He's going to be on the top. He's doesn't want to let Rob Velde escape, of course. But meanwhile, we've got a slight delay as he explains it to Coach Seymour as well, why he got that 1 point. We saw the motioning that he gave. You saw it as well, and it's 2-1 Jason Hamilton. He's winning, but it's early in the match, and he's winning by the slimmest of margins, so he's got to apply the pressure here. Oh, and now they're taking away all points from Jason Hamilton because of that maneuver and giving the one that they gave to Rob Velde. So, out of that, although he was able to take down, the ref saw a move that was not supposed to be, and that's what happened. So Rob Velde leading 1-0 by the slimmest of margins at this point. But Jason Hamilton knows he can score points, so that's going to give him some confidence and momentum. Let's see if he's able to make use of it here. He's a big man, as you see. And now Rob Velde trying to push him over, trying to go for the quick pin. He gets the 2 points, so he leads 3-0 at this point. And now we've got a reversal. So we've got the 2 for Jason Hamilton. So Jason, although he made a quick error there, he was able to come back to be only down by that 1 point margin. Let's see if he's able to win this match. It would be a nice way for to end this meet to end for West, and of course East would like to end there on a winning note as well, but they will win the meet regardless. They lead 38-12 right now, and as this draws to a close this period, Jason Hamilton would love to get some closing points in, but he's not able to do so. So they will start off the second period now with Rob Velde leading 3-2.
I think Jason Hamilton was angry with the referee's call that he had 2 points and then they were taken away, and then he got them back again. Right now he'd be leading up by 4, and I think he's a little bit angry and aggravated. So I think that's what caused that spurt of adrenaline to come into his bloodstream and come back in that first period.
Yes, that's probably true. And now let's see what Jason Hamilton can do. Right now he's being driven into the ground by Rob Velde. Looks like he's not in as good shape as he'd like to be. It looks like he's got a little bit too much meat hanging over that midsection, which I'm sure the coach would like to see him tone up there. But he is using his weight to his advantage. This is the heavyweight class, and so there's only 1:36 left in the period. Looks like they're going to have a break of play here because they are almost on the red area, and if Jason Hamilton can move, which he does, they have a stoppage of play, which is fortunate for Jason because he's got to try to get that 1 point back here. Let's see if he's able to do so. We'll be starting on the bottom. It's Jason Hamilton. He's being being led on by his friends, of course. And let's see if he's able to come back. He doesn't have to come back much, but he can also lose by 1 point or get pinned, as we saw. Gary Gagnon at a 5-point lead got pinned afterwards. An excellent show by Greg Casamento. Oh, almost an escape there, but then a near pin. So you see the danger of the escape trying there. You get the 1 point for that. Wasn't able to do so. Now Rob Veld trying to turn his man over. Not able to do so either. And we have a stoppage here. No point score for either player. Again, fortunate for Jason Hamilton because he's going to get another chance at a clean break. Something he needs. All right, we'll be starting on the bottom one more time. 1:12 left in the second period of our final match. The heavyweights, you're watching over 200 pounds on each man of mass and muscle working at each other. Almost had the escape there one more time, not able to get it. But that's all right because he's going to work at it, going to try to turn around and go for the reversal. He's almost got it. Jason Hamilton being driven into the ground, though, by Robert Veld.
I think Robert Veld right now is trying to use his weight against West's man, Jason Hamilton. It seems to be succeeding. I think Jason Hamilton right now is maybe trying to get to the perimeter and get both bodies out there so he can get a clean start. Even if he starts on the bottom, it would be a better position than he is in now.
That's true, although he might be able to turn his man over, but that would take a great deal of energy, but it looks like he might be able to muster it here, although he is getting outside, as you mentioned, Adam, and we've got another break. And the score has remained 3-2. They're going to get back to the center. He's going to be on the bottom. He looks tired as you saw him walk over there. That one step just showed you that the amount of energy that he is exerting here. As we see the big mass of Rob Velde as it hovers over him. All right, there is Jason Hamilton. He's in a little bit of trouble here. Let's see what happens in the third period, because second period, it looks like he's going to have to perhaps concede with only 15 seconds left. And he's still only down by 1 point, however, and that controversial call that the referee called is the difference between the winner of this match. But he gets to 2 points, and he leads now by 1 point. Excellent. With only 4 seconds left, he's going to take a 1 point lead into the third period. Way to go, Jason. It looks like they're talking to each other down there, Jason Hamilton and Robert Veld. We can't tell what they're saying to each other, but perhaps doing a little psych job on each other out there. 2 minutes left. Who will come out with winning the heavyweight match? Will it be Jason Hamilton of West, the Lions? Will it be Rob Veld of East? We shall soon find out. As we enter this final period, Jason Hamilton maintaining his control. And now he's got, looks like he's almost got the hair there for a moment of Rob Veld, but you really couldn't tell. And 2 points scored for the reversal there. Now he goes on top, looking for the pin. And he's got the pin. Rob Veld uses his big mass to get the pin.
I think Jason Hamilton was on his way to the perimeter again to get a clean start, but the pin was called.
All right, so let's recap this evening for you. We started off our first match, and it was won by Benny Ramos. Oh, no, excuse me, it was won by John Sloan at the 100-pound weight class of East. Scott Harper came in next for East with a pin, but then Evan Graham came in for West's first win at the 114-pound weight class. Then Brian Sloan at the 121-pound weight class won for East, followed by Dave Bacall for East as well at the 128-pound weight class. Then it was Gary Goldblatt at the 134-pound weight class for East. Then Mike Samar at the 140-pound weight class, the co-captain and the coach, the son of the coach for West, was able to pull off a victory at the 147-pound weight class. It was Mike McAleer, the coach, the son of the coach for East. Jeff Coulihan had a pin at 157 pounds for East as well. At 169 pounds, however, Jamie Jamerson came up with the win. He's a sophomore, so he's got a good year, a few years ahead of him for West. Greg Casamento at 187 pounds had a pin along with Rob Veld, the heavyweight for East.
And of course, the final score, this exciting wrestling match. The visitors, West, 12, and the winners, the East Cougars, with 44 points.
So we hope you've enjoyed this East versus West confrontation We'll be joining you at the next East versus West match. Whatever that sport happens to be, we'll be there. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's telecast on Channel 18. For Adam Arrington, this has been Michael Arrington, the Broadcast Brothers, bringing you wrestling.
You are watching Channel E18, the Cherry Hill Public Schools television station.